Yo, 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 what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 506. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I am joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, people? How's it going?
Carlos Romero.
Yo, yo, yo.
Brett Murdoch.
What up, people?
Richard Bailey Jr.
What's up, everybody?
And Brian Manjoma.
Ubisoft, the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, man. Well, there's a reason why that's the main topic tonight, because this company just keeps burning. What is going on with Ubisoft right now? Like, I had to put all the stories in like one section because like there's three main things that happened this week with Ubisoft. I don't even know where to start, which one's the juiciest, whether it's the buyout, the fucking employee talking shit, being sued. It's like, yo, Ubisoft, man. But yeah, let's start with the buyout thing, because we talked about that on the last show about how rumors were kind of circulating that, they were thinking about selling, and Tencent was apparently sniffing around. Turns out the Tencent thing was actually kind of true. And Tencent is interested, and Ubisoft says that they regularly review their options, which means they might be selling. And Tencent, like we said in the last show, that is the worst possible fucking option, Like, and unfortunately, and I'm being real right now, unfortunately, since Microsoft, has been under all that heat from the FCC, they can't buy Ubisoft. They would have been a way better fucking option than Tencent, But like we said, they're not going to be buying out any companies anytime soon. They don't want Khan coming in, not the other Khan. Yeah, not that Khan.
Ricardo Montalban is going to come out. He's like, you task me, Microsoft. Yeah. You task me.
Yeah. By the way, when I said Khan, I had a little bit of a brain fart, because in my mind, okay, this is what I meant to say. I was like, when I said Khan, I was like, and not the vice president, because in my mind, Kamala Khan, you know what I'm saying? I have that connection. But no, it's the FCC woman who's pretty nasty herself, like Harris, but we're not getting into that. But yeah, Ubisoft are fucked. The conspiracy theory is that they purposely are devalue themselves so they could be sold and stuff. I don't know about all that, but it's just been bad. I mean, like, how many L's can a company take, bro? The Star Wars game bombed. Shadows is about to be another bomb. What's another game that Ubisoft just fucking... Oh, the Prince of Persia game. It was reviewed well, but it didn't really move numbers.
Skull and Bones.
Thank you. That's the one I was looking for. Skull and Bones. And Brian, I don't know if you heard about how much that game cost to develop. Let me tell you, it was more than Concord is reportedly cost to develop. Insane. The Division 3 ain't gonna save this company, bro. Assyrian Air Force.
Only if it's in New York.
Oh, it's only in New York. It gotta be snowing,
It's gotta be snowing. The leaves gotta be going down.
Yeah. Carlos, what's your take on this, man? This shit is crazy.
So I got in a little bit late after the intro, so I'm not too familiar with what's going on.
The Ubisoft buyout thing, Tencent.
Oh, yeah. I'm not surprised. Ubisoft's stock has been tanking a lot this year. I mean, in general, it just hasn't been good. But this year is whoosh, especially since the economy has been on the upswing the last couple of months. It's not good. Guillemot needs to, give the company to someone else, or sell it to someone else. Tencent is not the way to go. I don't think so. Honestly, and I think you were alluding to this, Tony. The Ubisoft hasn't really been doing much. They got IPs that we love, Assassin's Creed. They got Splinter Cell. They got Rabbids. They got all of these franchises, but they haven't really gotten a hit in a long time. The Division, to Adam's love, but they haven't really gotten a hit. So we don't like. What is the saving grace for this company? You know, we know Assassin's Creed is not going to be it because it's already divisive. We know that they're not going to release a Splinter Cell because they don't give a fuck. We know that Beyond Good and Evil isn't going to come out because it's not going to come out. So I don't know what they can do. Does Just Dance generate a lot of money still? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, because that was a big money maker for them for years. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And we don't know if you know who they're gonna sell to. Tencent. If Tencent is gonna buy them, honestly, I don't see them making them even better.
No.
Regardless of the political stuff, when it comes to Tencent, I just don't think that company or any company really can make Ubisoft good. I don't think it's gonna be Microsoft either or Sony. I just feel like Ubisoft is in a ship going into an iceberg, and they can't deviate.
Who's to say that Tencent is just only looking to just get their IPs and just fuck off on the company?
If possible.
I mean, to be honest, their IPs in general are worth more than the actual company itself.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know.
They could just strip them. They could just strip them of the IP and then just toss that and close down that company. You know?
But I find this interesting because remember, like it was about 2 years ago where there were rumors again about Ubisoft being bought out, and they emphatically said no, we're not for sale. Now they're like, we explore every option. So that's different language. That sounds different to me. You know,
they pretty much saved themselves from the brink, right? They managed to get enough together to not have the studio get essentially bought out by some other thing. But now it's like, okay, what's the difference now? Has all the people behind the scenes just changed and said fuck this company?
Well, the difference is they've been putting out shitty products that nobody's buying. That's the problem. Wasting like hundreds of millions of dollars on these games that don't sell. That's what's changed, you know? Barry Byrne, another French surrender. Yeah, cheese-eating surrender monkeys, you know? As groundskeeper Willie called them on The Simpsons. Man, so yeah, that's the first piece of news. Anybody else want to jump in on this potential buyout news before we move on to the next Ubisoft disaster?
I will also like to mention it's not only Ubisoft. I mean, EA. Like there's a lot of companies, a lot of legacy publishers that haven't really been delivering. Capcom seems like the only one, of the major legacy publishers that has been delivering consistently. Ubisoft might be the first of a trend that'll follow suit later on.
But EA hasn't taken big L's like Ubisoft late, like public L's, have they? And financial L's.
No, not that I can remember. I mean, do they still own BioWare?
Yeah, that's a good point. But no one's saying, "Oh fuck yeah," they're saying "fuck BioWare." You know.
Yeah, but I mean, they still fall within that umbrella. So, that's, and you know how EA is when it comes to any perseverance of failure in their company. They just they cut it loose as quickly as possible.
Yeah, but EA haven't been enraptured in scandals like Ubisoft has.
Oh no, no, not even close. Yeah, I mean, Ubisoft is unique in that way, but I still see a trend in terms of, EA hasn't really moved the needle, recently.
I agree with you. What's up, Rich?
I just want to correct Carlos. For EA, their L is officially coming on October 31st.
Oh,
what's happening?
Yes.
What's happening that day?
The
Oh yes,
release of
the fail guard. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's and I think that's going to be the first sign of the demise of BioWare, because remember Mass Effect. I I don't have a lot of faith. I think the company might be done. But yeah, no, Ubisoft, man, they're in it. The next thing that happened with Ubisoft, remember, this all happened this week, people. I'm reading this from VGC. Ubisoft is being sued for allegedly sharing Ubisoft Store and Ubisoft Plus user data with Meta. Oh, man. The class action complaint claims Ubisoft sent user data to Facebook without permission. As reported by Bloomberg Law, the class action complaint accuses the Assassin's Creed publisher of sharing personally identifiable information, PII, with Facebook company Meta. According to the complaint, players who use the Ubisoft website to buy a game on the Ubisoft Store or use it to subscribe to Ubisoft Plus are having their PII sent to Meta through its Pixel user tracking software. That's not good.
Okay.
Go ahead, bro.
Can I just say, like, real quick, can we just fucking call that what it is? Like, it's not shared, gave, or leaked. It's fucking sold. They sold it to them.
Yeah. You're right. You're 100% right.
This wasn't mismanagement. They did this on purpose for money. Like, I don't know why it's being reported like that either.
Yeah. It's insane.
I mean, that's nitpicking, but oh man, that shit just drives me crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, man. So there's that, and then the last thing that happened, one of Ubisoft's employees went on a rant against gamers because that always works. That's always helpful. Brett, have you heard about this?
Yeah, I heard about all of this, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going? Like, this feels like a recap of their recent failures, but it's not. It's just shit that all happened, like, just in, like, that, like, swear to God, was it last week? Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? I have not seen this much ball dropping since, I don't even know. Insert metaphor here, I guess.
The New Year's party in Times Square.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big ball drop right there. But yeah, no, this guy, and here's the funny part, Brett. He's the monetization director. He's in charge of microtransactions.
Yeah, it's just, I understand his point to a certain extent where, I mean, do you want to read his statement?
Yeah, I think I'm going to read it. Just indulge me. I'm going to read this because this is, the dude's name is Stevie Chassard. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but here we go. I rarely post on social media, but today I am sad, ashamed and sad. The gaming industry is rough at the moment. We all know it, but seeing how quote unquote gamers react on social medias, wishing ill fate on companies and people alike is sad. Not only towards Ubisoft, even though it is always the vocal minority that expresses themselves on social media, I was hurt and ashamed to be part of this community. What is even more revolting is coming on LinkedIn and seeing the same comments from people within the industry. On top of exposing yourself as a clearly non-decent human being, that's what he's calling them, you are affecting thousands of employees that are already impacted by all the hate despite doing their best to deliver incredible experiences. How can you wish a company to fail simply because they do not cater to you or that the product does not please you is beyond me. We are all in the same boat. Please, please, please stop spreading hate. We should all uplift each other instead of bringing each other down.
Okay. I'm going to pop off for a minute.
Do it. Get on that soapbox, bro. Do it.
Okay. First of all, no. And second of all, fuck you. All right? Like, that is the kind of shit. Like, yeah, nobody should be, abusing other people, and nobody should be bullying other people. But don't act like you're a fucking innocent bystander here, all right? Like, you snuck in and insidiously undermined and fucking stole our hobby and our franchise out from underneath of us. And now, after you've raped it and pillaged it until it's nothing but a fucking husk of itself, you want to come at us for fucking criticizing you? It's not fucking hate. It's criticism. Well-earned criticism for shit that you fucking did and mismanaged over the last 20 years that has turned our love of a company into fucking hate. And yeah, it is not toxicity. It is just utter animosity against you and everything that you have done to us. Like, you have come into a party and ruined the party. And then when people are like, get the fuck out, you're like, well, why can't I just be me at the party? Because you ruined it for everybody else here. You are a piece of shit who has literally robbed the joy from countless people for his own fucking success because somebody put money in your pocket. Congratulations. I hope you're happy. You have ruined like a franchise that has been like many kids like childhood fucking loves because you had to insert your bullshit into it even though it's not your fucking baby. So fucking fuck off with that bullshit about like, oh, everybody needs to like stop with the fucking hate. You know what? I hope you go wrong. I hope your company goes out. Right? Like, and it's not on me. It's on you for wildly mismanaging your company and taking it on. Don't try and pass off the burden of your failure onto the fucking consumer because you suck at your job. And people were looking to you to not suck at your job for them to fucking keep theirs. This isn't a fucking charity. It's a fucking business. The whole point is to put other people out of business. I forget who I even heard say that recently. That one's not even mine, though. But the thing that fucking gets me the most about all of this is just how you have the fucking chutzpah to do all of that and then try and lay the blame on us and tell us not to fucking complain. After you guys have repeatedly talked about, like, well, the game's not for you. Well, maybe you should make a game for the fucking audience who originally supported the fucking game. It's not goddamn rocket science. So you know what? No, fuck you. You're just bad at your job. You deserve every bit of animosity, even though, like, you're just getting criticism. But the hate that you hear, the hate that you see, you fucking deserve that, whether it's real or not. Because even if it's not, you deserve every bit of fucking vitriol for every bit of joy that you have sucked out of all of this shit. I used to fucking love Assassin's Creed. You've taken that away from me. All right? God forbid I make you feel bad about the things that you did. Because you fucking deserve it. And you know what? If other people in your industry say the same thing, we just call that a validated opinion. Your contemporaries and peers also think that you're a fuck up. Maybe you ought to look in the mirror and realize that, if trained professionals think that you're a fuck up, maybe they know what they're talking about. If trained professionals and casual passerbys think that you're a fuck up, oh my God. Is it me? No, it's the children who are fucking wrong. So I guess in conclusion, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I found that part very interesting that other developers are calling Ubisoft out on some of this stuff. Because normally, they have like I would call it a little bit of a gentleman's agreement, although obviously not everybody adheres to it. Remember, Ubisoft is also the same company that was shitting on Elden Ring. But generally speaking, you don't see that, and I guess I personally haven't seen it because I'm not on LinkedIn like that, but that is damning. The other part of this comment that I'm like, no, that's not true. He said we're all in the same boat. No, we're not.
No,
you are in competition with other companies. It is your job to make a better product that people will gravitate towards, right? We're not all on the same boat here, bro. It doesn't work like that. You should also understand that your company has done a lot of divisive things and with posts like this also said a lot of divisive stuff. It sucks to get like hate mail or whatever, but this is the internet, bro. This is the way it is. You do things that upset people. They're going to let you know about it. Obviously we're not condoning like legit harassment, but like shit talking on the internet. Come on, man, you gotta grow a thicker skin.
That's fucking bullying. That's just criticism.
Yeah, it's just criticism. That's the thing, Brett.
Criticism and insult. It's not criticizing. It's not fucking hate. Saying you're doing a bad job is not hate. Saying I don't like what you've been doing and I disagree with your approach and do not think it should continue.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. And you see this from a lot of companies, whether it be video games, movies, TV, whatever, that people take criticism as hate. Some of it hateful? Sure. But most of it is like, hey, this is in a good direction. You did this wrong, that wrong. That's fine. But now all criticism is lumped in as hate. You know, like my favorite one is like, oh, they're review bombing. No, they're leaving their fucking opinion. You know?
Yeah.
That's what it is. You know?
Yeah, they're reviewing it poorly. You're bombing in the reviews, but it's not review bombing. And here's the other thing I want to say in here. The audacity to be like, oh, well, I'm sure the people who dislike us are just the vocal minority. Are you sure about that? How do you fucking know? Because it doesn't. Your sales do not reflect that the people telling you how you fucked up are like not the vocal minority. It seems like that's a majority of your customer base.
Yeah, it's incredible. Go ahead, Ben.
I feel like the crux of this whole conversation is sort of misinterpreting generalizations. I feel like this dude who posted this LinkedIn thing, instead of parsing a more direct target in terms of who he's speaking of, I feel like it kind of sounded more generalized, and that's where it sounds like people would take it more as a jab at everyone. Because I did understand, because he posted, and I'll read the sentence. It says, the gaming industry is rough at the moment. We all know it. But seeing how, quote, gamers, unquote, react on social media is wishing ill fate to companies and people alike is sad. And I feel like some of you guys are taking it as in he's shitting on gamers. But the way that I'm reading
it, he's the ill fate he's talking about isn't people like wishing death threats or anything like that. It's the people wishing Ubisoft would close.
Oh no, and that's the issue that I'm bringing up. It's the whole generalizing everything, because there's a section of people who are hating on this because it's popular in some crowds to hate on Assassin's Creed now because of all the thing that's going on. So there's a whole bunch of people chiming in on conversations about this video game that had no interest ever about Assassin's Creed, and that's where the quote unquote gamers is. But I will say this: the way that this reads does not parse that target that target people that he's criticizing very well, not at all, because there you lump in the actual criticisms, the valid criticisms, which I would say is the vast majority, in lumped with some of the bullshit that just comes with the fucking identity politics shit that goes around on online, and all that is understandable why you would be upset at that, but you're not doing a good job of trying to interpret what is going on. And also, I will say this: my biggest issue with this post is just complaining about this stuff like this on LinkedIn. I just don't understand. Like, everyone, look, everyone fucking complains about their jobs. We all complain to each other about our jobs personally, because we're close friends, and we talk about shit all the time. I just don't feel like this is a conversation the way that it was posted right there. It's a conversation to be taken into a public setting, because number one, it's not really what's the term? It's not really clear and concise, and it's not really formatted in a way that's good for digestion. Whether anything is good at being digested on the fucking internet, which is another conversation. This just feels like I'm just gonna complain about shit. It's not really concise. It's not really targeted. It's just I'm gonna complain because people are complaining about my game. Whether they're complaining it for the right reasons or the wrong reasons, I'm not making that distinction in this article, in this post here. And that's where all this is going. And then now it's people are gonna hate on this guy because, oh, he's complaining about his job, and now it just gets reinterpreted in ways that I feel like the conversation doesn't really go anywhere. And I guess that, like I mentioned, that was my biggest issue with this post. It's not really posted in a way that even in the best intentions can be interpreted in a way where it can be dissected and analyzed in a way where criticism is valid.
Again, it just reads to me like, oh, they don't like my game, you're haters. You know, it's like it's just whiny, bro.
You know, he could have taken the high road. Could have taken
Not said anything.
Like not even not said anything. Just be like, hey, we realize you may not have agreed with some of our creative decisions, and that's fine. But please refrain from hate speech or harassment towards any of our staff or actors, because that crosses a line from civil discussion into obvious harassment, and nobody deserves that. And then just leave it at that, man. Like, people are going to have opinions. You can't Streisand affect your way out of people having opinions by correcting or browbeating or erasing their opinions. None of those work. All you can do is say, is kind of take your lumps, apologize only if it's sincerely, and say, like, you know what, we're gonna like Ubisoft just came out and said, like, we're for the company. We're first and foremost an entertainment brand, not a brand that's trying to push any sort of agenda. So hearing that, even if it's lip service from the higher ups, that to me is heartening, because they have at least heard the complaints about the company, right? Like, they're not pulling an ostrich, they're not putting their head in the sand. So even if that's disingenuous, it means that there's a shift internally within the company to be like, okay, shit, maybe we should pander towards the people with the money. So that feels like really, I think, all a lot of people want. It now, maybe too little, too late. And yeah, like, I can understand where we're saying, like, hey, wishing animosity on anybody is not great. But, like, at what point do you kind of just wish, like, if somebody made their bed, they lie in it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if and, like, see, personally, like, I don't think wishing Ubisoft would shut down is really a well thought out argument. Because, as we've talked about, like, they're not going to shut down. Like, somebody's going to buy them, and it's going to be fucking like Tencent or something like that. So I don't agree with the sentiment. I do agree with the, I feel like you've earned the situation that Ubisoft has earned the situation they've been in. It sucks that we're here. There is a little schadenfreude, but for the most part, it's just generally kind of upsetting.
Yeah, I agree, Brett. And another thing that I would tell, I'm pretty sure he's not listening. So, but here's some words of advice. There's a lot of bad sentiment towards Ubisoft right now. Some of it for reasons that are trendy on the internet, and a whole bunch of other ones that are for very valid reasons. And I hope that this person understands why those reasons are the way that they are. Ubisoft has not been doing anything to help their reputation the last couple of years. And if you can't understand that, I understand, this whole kumbaya, we're trying to make the best experiences possible. But if your core consumer base is not reflecting that or reciprocating that feedback back towards you guys, because trust me, every game has a lot of haters. GTA has had more haters than I can't think of another game that's had more haters, but it's had far overwhelming more people that love the franchise. So Rockstar, they don't care. They're gonna get the haters. They're gonna get some, politicians trying to get the game canceled because of, it does this or this, in the past couple of decades. But right now they're laughing in the bank right now because they make more money than they know what to do with. So you don't have their monetization director complaining about that, even though there is a whole bunch of criticism going towards GTA's way every time a GTA game gets released. So it's just one of those things, man. I just hope he wouldn't have just posted this. Like, a lot of this stuff, it's better to internalize and talk to people that you trust, and not leaving it for the public discourse, because the public discourse, if you're complaining about the public discourse and then release something to be critiqued by the public discourse, it's not going to turn out that well.
Yeah, I find that funny. It's like he's complaining about people complaining online, but then he went online to complain.
Yeah.
So what are we doing? It's insane.
Yeah. There's literally nothing you can get from this.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know what he hoped to get from it aside from the venting. Because are the people that you consider haters going to read this and go, "Oh my God, I'm wrong. I'm sorry." They're not going to do that, bro. So so it just seemed like he just wanted to vent, you know.
Yeah,
and possibly play victim too. You know, that tone.
That's always possible.
Yeah, that tone is very, you know, victimish.
Yeah. Sometimes, you know, like I mentioned, we all go through places in our professional careers where we just want to vent, but there's way better avenues to do that than you know, posting it online. Especially posting it online in a place where you're looking like the purpose of this place is to look for jobs.
Yeah.
I just find it weird.
Yeah, definitely the strangest story of the week, man. All right, it's going to do it for Ubisoft unless you guys want to bring up anything else about the company. Pretty sure we will have to talk about them next week. Oh, man, it's always something. All right, let's move on here. Okay, we talked about this on the Sunday show, but now, even though there's not really much more to say about it, basically, Halo is moving to the Unreal Engine 5. Halo
which was said before that they actually did say they were moving to Unreal a while ago.
Yeah. But yeah, Halo Studios, Unreal Engine 5. And this is something that the tech experts are saying, which is actually, I didn't think about it. Oh yeah, that's kind of true. Basically they're saying now that the game's going to be moving to Unreal 5, it'll be a lot easier to get it on PS5. Which kind of fuels the rumors that Halo will eventually come to PlayStation. Interesting. I could believe it, you know, especially if Microsoft is trying to just get their games everywhere. I can see that. Then my question will be, which insider will come out to say they were the ones that reported this first?
Oh, there's a whole queue of them right now.
You know,
they're lined up.
Yeah. It was our boy Richard Ledbetter who said this, actually. He's like, oh, it should be easier. You know? I'm going to read this. I'm not going to do the accent. It stands to reason that an engine designed for deployment across multiple platforms would be easier to work with than an existing technology built for Xbox and PC. You are correct, sir. So you know this is already fueling speculation, like, oh, Halo is coming to PlayStation, and I told you I was the first one.
I posted this shit in 2010.
Who said it?
Yo, I get the credit.
Yeah, I'll give it to Hip Hop Gamer if he didn't say nothing. Why not? You know?
I'm pretty sure he said it sometime in the past 2 decades.
Yeah. So pretty interesting stuff. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by the Unreal Engine 5. Like Manny mentioned, it was something that was already noted, but the whole revamping and the fact that they're now actually called the Halo Studios instead of the niche 343 moniker, you know, it makes sense. They want to sort of kind of rebrand in a sense before their next Halo release. I would be all for a multi-platform Halo game. I just feel like if they want to get into the good graces of Halo, throw it to an audience, to a bigger audience than it was last time. I still don't have faith in 343 or Halo Studios because they haven't proven themselves to me.
343 by any other name, right?
Yeah, the artist formerly known as 343.
Yeah.
They still. Oh, go ahead.
No, I said it's the same studio. You just change your name, you know? Yeah. Like, it's the same studio, bro. Like, come on now.
Yeah, it's just got a brand new coat of paint, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, I just, you know, I wouldn't want this to be exclusive to Xbox. I know that might sound sacrilege because Sometimes exclusives can make it more compelling for people to purchase things on your own platform. But with this franchise, man, it's getting to that point where it could kill. The franchise it's not on life support, but man, it's not where it used to be.
Yeah, it's limping.
It is limping.
It is limping. By the way, so I'm reading this from IGN, and they had a poll. Will Microsoft bring Halo to PlayStation? I cast a vote in there just because. So apparently 57% of the readers say it will come to PlayStation. Oh, man, that is funny. But yeah, like we've been saying for years now, it's like Microsoft is really, they want to make Xbox a brand. So what do you do with a brand? Spread it out. Put it everywhere.
Also, announcing Halo on PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 6 whenever we get there is going to be the biggest news of the year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's going to be crazy.
Yeah. So that's
I'm going to be on Twitter all day
one of those
when that
happens.
happens. Yeah, I'm going to be on Twitter all day when that happens. What's up, Fergus Mills?
Yo, shout out to Fergus Mills.
Yeah,
couldn't get 30th anniversary console.
Yo, shit. Yeah, they had a back on sale. That didn't work. Anyway, so yeah, Halo probably. I mean, not probably. I'm not going to say that, but I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I'll be on Twitter all day when that happens. It's going to be very interesting. Well, that whole episode of Throwdown will just be just that. But yeah, pretty interesting stuff. All right, moving on. Another story here. So this is one. I believe it was Kiss Shack. He asked us about this at the tail end of the question show, but we were wrapping up. But we'll talk about it now. So apparently some Saudi Arabian company was interested in buying like a bigger stake in Nintendo. But then when the news got out, they decided to not buy as much. Apparently they originally wanted here it is. They're called the PIF company. They reduced its stakehold in the Japanese video game giant to 7.5% from 8.5% previously, according to a Japanese regulatory filing.
Are you sure? This is not the one this is not the company that essentially is bankrolled by the Saudi Arabian government, is it?
I have no idea if it is or not.
Because Saudi Arabia has essentially a company that is essentially a government-owned company that invests in all kinds of other things around the world.
Yeah, this one's it's called Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. So I don't know if that's the company you're thinking about.
I think that might be it.
Yeah.
A lot of people have called into question that thing that because of the fact that it's essentially a government-owned business that's investing into things.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, it said it's trimmed its holdings in Nintendo Corporation a day after reports that a senior executive at the kingdom's mammoth sovereign wealth fund said it was considering upping its stake. Yeah, man, it sounds like the company you're talking about.
That one has a big issue with the things because no government should be owning companies.
Yeah, well, this is Saudi Arabia, Yeah,
obviously, yes. And obviously, Nintendo sees no problem with a company with a government-owned company owning some portion of their business.
Yeah, it came a day after a report in local outlet Kyoto News cited comments by Prince Faisal bin Bandar bin Sultan Al Saud. I don't know if I got that right. Vice chairman at Savvy Games Group. So I think we talked about this guy before. Some Saudi prince and a game company. Yeah. I just never said his name before. The PIF's gaming focused subsidiary made in September. He was asked about a potential increased stake in Nintendo and other Japanese gaming companies and said it's always a possibility, adding that its partners' consent is paramount. It's important to keep the communication going so you get there in the right way. We don't want to rush into anything. Prince. Fucking crazy, man. On Monday of this week, Nintendo shares gained 4.4% following the Kyoto News report. Shares fell fractionally on Tuesday, although news of the PIF shareholding came out shortly after the market close. So yeah, Saudi Arabia, they've been kind of sniffing around with the game industry for a bit. We've talked about this before. I don't know if Jagon's involved in this or not, but kind of wild. I'm not knowledgeable on this shit, so I don't know what this all means, but it
means a government, a rich government is owning entertainment,
like no other China and Tencent.
Yes, like China with most companies that have to do with them, they own some sort of stake in them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know why they do that, but it's no other. Everybody, here's the thing: every other country seems to be playing by the rules, except for the certain countries.
Isn't that interesting?
It's interesting.
Yeah, I want to read this real quick. This is interesting. Saudi Arabia has, in recent years, poured billions of dollars into the gaming sector, both at home and abroad, aiming to become an esports and gaming hub as part of the kingdom's Vision 2030 plan to modernize and diversify the heavily oil-dependent Saudi economy. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is also the chairman of Savvy Games Group. So yeah, maybe the prince, he's the head of this shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's the company. Yeah, it's kind of, by the way, a quick aside. Rashid from Street Fighter V, he was specifically put in there because of how big the games are over there in Saudi Arabia. Kind of interesting.
Well, yeah.
And Rashid is also a prince from an unnamed country, but we know what it is. You know what it is. It's the Saudi Arabian god.
The Saudi Arabian prince.
The prince, right? Oh, man. All right, so, Carlos, you have any thoughts on this? You're more financially savvy.
I didn't know that they went down on their offer. I didn't know what the offer was. What was initially until this news. But yeah, I mean, they're buying. They buy every aspect of every company at this point. So not surprised Nintendo is getting some of that money inflowing. It's a significant chunk of it, but it's not anything that affects the ins and outs of what Nintendo does. So even though they're owned by certain percentages by different types of companies, corporations, or governments, I think all in all, Nintendo is still unaffected, in terms of what they deliver, and they're still gonna take their sweet and pleasant time to announce the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Who knows when that thing's gonna happen?
Well, didn't they say by the end of the fiscal year they're gonna release it or announce it or something? And the fiscal year would be ending. I'm pretty sure we talked about that. And the fiscal year would be ending in March of next year. Which makes me think that they'll do the same thing. But again, big caveat that I'm always historically wrong when it comes to predicting Nintendo. So keep that in mind. But I would suspect an announcement this year and then the release next year if it follows the Switch's trajectory. But again, I'm always almost 100% wrong when it comes to Nintendo. So who the fuck knows? Well, we have a little bit of a Nintendo story, but I'll get to that in a bit. All right, another one here. This one's kind of interesting. So you know how PlayStation's just been going crazy with the remakes and all that. The latest one is Until Dawn, a remake no one asked for. And apparently really got asked for. So this is coming from True Trophy. So they're getting data from people who are actually playing the game, right? Until Dawn's PS5 debut. Oh, we just lost somebody. I think it may have been Brett. Until Dawn's PS5 debut. Until Dawn's PS5 debut, 28% weaker than Concord. Than Concord, the biggest failure of the year, which is kind of wild. So here he goes. Until Dawn's PS5 player count is staggeringly low and is one of the worst debuts we have seen in quite some time. Yes, even worse than Concord. That's an achievement right there, man. Until Dawn's debut is 28.6 smaller than Concord's. The PlayStation Studios horror game saw 98.5% fewer players than The Last of Us 2 Remastered. The small pool of PS5 players could be down to the lack of marketing. That's also kind of true. Like, they didn't really market this a lot.
They shadow dropped this one.
Yeah, they kind of did. You know, and even with like, by the way, I can say this now because obviously the embargo lifted. We didn't get review codes until the day before launch, which tells you something.
That's what Ledbetter from Digital Foundry said too. He's like, usually, you know, when they do this sort of stuff, that means that they don't have a lot of faith in it, or there's something seriously wrong with the title.
Segway Kings, because that's apparently what's been happening. It's all kinds of fucked up, you know, like performance issues and all this other nonsense. So not good, you know.
Just play Silent Hill Remake.
Yeah, and even that game, you know, has some issues apparently.
Yes, it has it's interesting that a game that has a bunch of had a bunch of fog in it to essentially cut down the workload of on the engine is having slowdown. You're literally covering most of the environment with fog. Just cut them out. You know, and get your game running better.
And it's interesting because, but we're in a different time now because when Until Dawn came out, it blew up. You know, but now that game's not as impressive.
I think that the number one thing with Until Dawn is, I think people would have been more receptive to a sequel to Until Dawn instead of just having another Until Dawn. I mean, granted, Until Dawn came, I think, around 10 years ago, but I still don't think that's enough time to do a remake. I think, being that the game was already readily available on from doing the pro stuff, and the game doesn't look runs better on the PlayStation 5 and the Pro. I feel like people aren't really chomping at the bit for something that recent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Although Sony has release games fast, remastered games faster. Remember, it was 1 year after The Last of Us came out that they had a remastered version. 1 year. This at least had the grace of being 9, you know.
So,
but it's crazy. But I am kind of surprised. I'm not surprised that it didn't do well. I'm surprised that it did this badly, you know. And right here, True Trophies, they actually cited how they got these numbers. They used game data sample from 3.1 million active PSN accounts, which came from Game Insights, which True Trophies uses to get their data from. But yeah, again, nobody knew this was coming, you know. So what do you expect?
Nobody knew it was coming, and then when it finally did come out, it has about as many issues as the original Until Dawn had on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's the Decima engine, the Death Stranding engine, by the way, the original one.
Yeah.
This one is Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah. It's crazy, but I guess that game's going to be forgotten soon,
I mean, again, it's like, and yet it's funny. As soon as they said that when they released that game, they're like, oh yeah, and those guys are working on Until Dawn 2. I wonder if that's going to happen now.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Maybe the game just wasn't that big, and people just don't care anymore.
I think that's what it is. I think it was big.
I think the novelty.
Yeah,
I also think the novelty is sort of worn off on that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Hayden Panettiere isn't the big star she used to be. People don't care anymore,
Yeah, they actually did have her come back to do some new stuff for it too, but yeah, it's I think the novelty's sort of worn off, and I also think coupled with nobody asked for this, and then number two, they barely advertised it. They sort of shadow dropped it. So
Yeah. And what are some other stars that are like big? But then again, it's like there were big stars 10 years ago, not anymore. All right, man. Moving on here. The last story of the night. This was a little bit of a slow week, to be honest. Not a lot of things happen. But this one, very interesting. Nintendo's releasing an alarm clock, appropriately called Alarmo. I'm not making this up.
they love putting O's at the end of everything.
Yeah, well, they're Nintendo, so Alarmo.
Yeah, Labo, Alarmo, Amiibo.
Yeah,
Nintendo.
And apparently it's already sold out at a lot of places. People are just buying this fucking thing. So $99 alarm clock.
What's it do, other than be an alarm clock?
That's a good question. Did anybody see the video on this thing? I see it like a link thing happening here on the face. I guess there's a wake up.
My guess is it has.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have some sort of features where you can adjust things around. I did see a little mail thing on there too, like a little postage message on there. So I wonder if it connects like via, Bluetooth or USB or something like that to your internet or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I'll read this thing because again, I haven't. This week's been busy as fuck, so I haven't really looked up. Unless anybody knows about this thing that has information, I can just tell us. No, damn.
I think didn't Rich pre-order this?
Yeah. Rich, didn't you pre-order like 5 of these, bro?
Could have sworn did.
He's being quiet because he knows.
Oh,
Absolutely not. No.
Oh,
Carlos
man.
is very good at spreading rumors that are not accurate whatsoever. No, I'm not pre-ordering this. And just to clarify, I'm not getting a Switch 2. I will, however, get a Steam Deck. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. What are we doing here? So I'm reading this from The Verge from Mr. Chris Welch. He goes, "Look, I'm a sucker for instant gratification. It's often one of my favorite things about living in New York City. This morning, Nintendo announced its $99 Alarmo clock, and when the company store in Rockefeller Center opened a couple hours later, I walked in and picked one up. Did I feel a little iffy about paying $108.91 after tax for a plastic alarm clock? You bet. But fortunately, in my field, this counts as a work expense. It's true. Technically, this product is called Nintendo Sound Clock. Alarmo, no one is ever going to refer to it that way. It's Alarmo. Yeah, it's Alarmo, bro. No one's going to call it Nintendo Sound Clock. The Verge's senior entertainment editor, Andrew Webster, will have a full review of Alarmo coming up, but I wanted to check it out for myself. Mostly, I was curious about the audio quality. If the speaker in this relatively tiny clock sounds tiny or shrill, that would ruin the concept for me. Turns out you don't need to worry about that. I haven't tried all of the Alarmo's various sounds, but even the Super Mario Brothers theme that plays during the setup process eliminated my worries that it would sound like crap. The setup routine is actually quite lengthy and might prove to be a bit much for a child. You choose the date and time, of course, but you're also led through configuring the clock's motion detected features, which takes a bit of time, and I didn't see any way of skipping it. Alarmo's millimeter wave presence sensor works with bed sizes ranging from twin to king, and the screen is meant to face the middle of your bed. It's weird. Mm-hmm. The display is not touchscreen, nor is it round, and I feel like Nintendo's promotional video exaggerates its size a little bit. It does.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Are they overcompensating?
It does automatically adjust brightness based on ambient lighting. One fun little detail is that the clock screen and typeface will change depending on the alarm you've chosen. Whenever the regular clock is showing, the character on screen will also move from left to right based on your own movements if you're within range of the motion sensors. Motion sensors. Okay.
Oh.
You control Alarmo with the buttons up top. The large dial can be turned to navigate menus and press to make selections. There's a back button to the left and a notifications button to the right. I've barely used the clock, but presumably this is where you might get notified about your sleep metrics. There's no serious health monitoring or anything like that. Don't expect Mario to warn you about snoring or potential sleep apnea. That's funny. The top dial lights up in range of colors. You'll see quite a few within the first few minutes of using Alarmo. Aside from the core alarm functionality, Alarmo also has sleep sounds that you can doze off to. Nintendo plans to offer new sounds that can be downloaded to the clock once you've linked to a Nintendo account. When you access this menu, a prompt advises younger users to seek out a parent or a guardian. Oh, that's nice. Is this thing absurdly expensive for what it is? Certainly. But for its demographic, it's very cute, and there are small, thoughtful Nintendo touches throughout the experience. And I've barely dug in. All right, so there you go, Alarmo. I wonder what this. It doesn't look too big based on these pictures. You know?
Yeah, it seems like it's one of those things that it's perfect fan service for Nintendo fans. So they'll eat this up. Also, I do want to mention I've been to that Nintendo store by Rockefeller. I think it's on Rockefeller actually.
Yeah.
If you ever go there, get ready to see a bunch of fucking nerds, man.
I've been there before. That used to be the Pokemon Center back in the day.
Yeah.
If you look at the door handles, they still are Pokeballs.
The Pokeballs.
Is it
The
Pokeball?
Pokeball, eh?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's definitely overpriced, but I'm not surprised. But either way, I'm not surprised it's sold out.
Yeah, I mean, it's Nintendo fans. They're going to go ham. A Syrian Air Force says you could buy it on Nintendo's website, but you need a Nintendo Switch Online account. That makes sense. But yeah, is anybody here going to get one? I'm going to take that as a no, based on the silence. You already know to make it. Pre-ordered like 5 of them.
Oh, you already know, man.
Yeah. One for every room.
I'm pretty sure Rich, he might be tempted to get one. I don't know. Yeah, it's just something tells me that he might be interested in this.
Rich, man, I don't know about these slanderous claims of Carlos right now, man. I don't know about all that. But yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I will say this. I'm going to remember this so that when I make my Christmas list, I want to make sure that I send Carlos a fresh copy of Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. So,
and also pack it in with the Suicide Squad movie.
Oh yeah, there you go. Perfect.
It's good time.
It's good time. Well, Rich, if we're doing Secret Santa this year, then I'll make sure to get you a good shelf so you can put in your Conquered Collector's Edition there.
Game of the year.
No.
Oh man, that is crazy. All right, man. So wrapping up, but since we still got a few moments here, let's go around the room and see what we have been playing lately. Brett, I'll start with you because you were giving me a sneak peek about it, before the show started. So what are you playing right now?
I'm playing Valheim. We're kind of came back from a break and jumped into it. They just released a pretty big expansion fairly recently called Ashlands. They're going to release another one here, I think, by the end of the year. And then that one should technically be their full 1.0 release. So I was kind of raving to Tony earlier about how impressed I was with how they handled it, because it's been early access, but it's been pretty much feature complete from day one. They've just been adding content, each of which feels like what would normally be a pretty major expansion. New biomes, new enemies, new recipes, new crafting stuff, just full new stuff. Just about every major zone release that they've done since the initial game drop. The initial game drop included 4 zones, and then they've added Plains, Mistlands, Ashlands, and they're getting ready to add Great North. So came out, started with 4, then they came out with 4 more, but each of the additional 4 have been absolutely gigantic. So these guys have been really great. And then I actually watched just one of their conferences where they did a whole thing where they came out and showcased a bunch of small indie devs, which was pretty cool. You know, nice to see people paying their success forward. And I just recently found out it's the same company who published Deep Rock Galactic. So, you know, they killing it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Brett, would you say this is kind of like a Baldur's Gate situation? Because that game was in early access for a while too, and that was to its benefit in the end.
I think so. I think we're really seeing kind of 2 kinds of early access games. Ones that come out kind of not ready, and ones that come out feature ready and then add more content. And I think that the latter's actually really good. In fact, I had seen somebody recently lamenting and complaining online about how they had been talked into releasing in Steam Early Access, but the problem with doing so was that they released kind of in a very unpolished state, too unpolished, and it made people react poorly to the game. So I think the industry has leveled out a little bit, where if you go into early access, it should be a fully structured concept that you should add content to. So some companies it's working really well, some companies not so much. Honestly, what I think it is, and this is maybe just my tinfoil hat, I'm starting to think we're seeing the rollover of bigger, staler companies. I think that the Ubisofts of the world are dying, and that there are a bunch of Larians and FromSofts, and I think Coffee Stain type companies who are kind of stepping up to step into the shoes of newer AAA publishers. You know, companies that had a solid AA track record and have recently just kind of broken into the AAA space because some of these older companies are stagnating. So kind of wondering if we're going to start to see more of that upward mobility with studios who release, you know, wildly successful AA games breaking into the AAA space.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, you probably have to go to indie spaces if you're not getting, good stuff from triple A's like Ubisoft. It should be quadruple A's like Ubisoft. Yeah, you know, it's crazy. Manny, have you been playing anything lately? I know you were playing that whatchamacallit game.
Yeah, so I actually did get the trophy, the platinum trophy in the Plucky Squire. So yeah. There's a glitch. There's a glitch in that game. I think I might have explained this before, but there's a glitch in that game. But if you do play it on story mode, which is the sort of, I don't know, just like if you want to just play through the story mode, apparently there's a glitch in the game that locks progress for getting these specific items to that mode. So let's say you finish the game, you got all the stuff. You can't you can't actually go back and get those collectibles that you missed because the chapter select mode is locked. If you decide to go back in a previous save, it causes all kinds of issues to happen. And if you decide to go onto, like, let's say they call it adventure mode, which would probably be normal mode. What happens is, what it does is it literally counts from the last collectible that you got. So I originally completed the game when I first got all the collectibles in the original mode. I only got 6 of them. There's 10 of them in the game. When I completed adventure mode, it said when I got the last one, it said I got 4. So in other words, 6 take away 6 take away 10, 4. So in other words, it literally counted. It came back again from the beginning. So I'm like, okay, so it looks like I can't go into any other, I can't go and play this game again and get all these collectibles. So what I did And I was like, they supposedly said they fixed it, but they didn't. So what I did is I just wiped all the data from that game.
Oh shit!
I just played it again from scratch on adventure mode, and then I finally got the trophy because it started to count the trophies that I didn't get. It's so stupid.
Yeah, that's annoying for sure.
It's annoying. The Plucky Squire in general for a PlayStation Plus, game, that game that launched on PlayStation Plus, it's crazy glitchy.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who just want to, if you have one of the other tiers of PlayStation Plus, I do think the game is fun. I do think, but it's fairly glitchy. So be careful, and you can easily, if you're platinum or trophy hunter, the trophies in that game are all screwy if you don't do an exact one and done run. So if you literally play through the game and then just follow what do they call it, one of those those guides, you should get all the trophies. But then again, there's also all kinds of goofball issues that happen in the game that I've had. So there you go.
Oh man. Carlos, have you been playing anything lately?
No, but I do want to mention. Oh, I do want to give a shout out to Richard Bailey Jr. and Adam Vale. I'll be playing Warhammer whenever we get to it. We've all been busy, so hopefully this weekend we make some time. But I also do want to give a mention that I've been strongly considering getting Metaphor.
Oh, really? Rifantasio.
The Atlas. Rifantasio.
I don't know why I hear like that in my head, like Rifantasio. Ezio Terenzi,
from everything that I've been seeing about this game, everyone says it's Persona but with a fantasy setting.
Excuse me?
And it's like they're saying it's even more, like the stylized aspects of the game is even more, turned up more on this game. So yeah, I've been strongly considering getting this game. It's $70 though, but it's like shit. I mean, if I get those Persona vibes, Shin Megami Tensei vibes from this, and it's a quality game, and it looks like everyone that's been reviewing it has really enjoyed it. So it might be something that I pick up this weekend. We'll see.
Yeah.
Tony, are you considering this game or not?
I got a review code for it, so I will be checking out. Yeah. It's I haven't played it yet because I'll explain why, but yeah, I'm not reviewing it for Tom's guys, so I don't have to worry about that. But I am actually reviewing Until Dawn, so that's going to be interesting, But yeah, I do plan to check it out. I didn't know that it was basically Persona but fantasy. That's kind of cool. So yeah, I'll check it out. Brian, have you been playing anything lately?
Yes, I have. I learned that Doki Doki Literature Club was on PlayStation Plus, so I downloaded that. Got the platinum, so
nice.
I'm quite proud of myself. It's actually a relatively fast platinum. I'll say relatively fast. It takes about 10 hours, so in platinum terms, that's really good. And if you use a guide, you can get it done, I think, within 5 hours. So that's nice. I honestly don't think the game works as well on console as it does on PC, and that's not like a technical thing. So one of the mechanics of the game is you need to go into a folder and delete stuff. So it's kind of, again, it works well on PC since, again, you can just go to the Steam folder, delete the thing, and you're good to go. But on console, it's kind of odd because you don't have access to that stuff. So the game kind of has to give you like a virtual machine you work with, and it just doesn't work since it kind of takes you out of the game. So it's weird like that. But still an experience. And that's mostly it. Not really been playing anything else apart from that. This weekend I'll be starting Space Marines. I actually downloaded it now, so it's there. Just waiting for the right time.
Yeah. Rich, what have you been playing lately that you're allowed to talk about?
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. There's a lot of man, this is like I've said before on this show multiple times. This is the busiest time of the year. Um, and there is no shortage of games. So first and foremost, what I can talk about. There's a lot of games that I did receive, as Tony mentioned. We did get Until Dawn, but them codes did not arrive until dawn the day before the game was out. So there
Yeah.
you go.
We had to
Yeah.
wait until
Yeah.
dawn to get those review
Yeah.
codes.
Is Adam
Carlos-
Is Adam playing Until Dawn?
Oh no. I don't know. I don't believe he is. I know he is very busy, but yeah, we didn't get that code until 7 a.m. So there's no way in hell that I would have had time to play that. But yeah, that's a game I do have to play. Also, to go to Tony's point, I also received the code for this Persona game.
Yeah,
this
Metaphor.
this new Metaphor. Yes, I haven't had a chance to play that either yet because there's a lot of stuff I'm playing I can't really talk about yet. But I am going to play that this weekend. So shout out to Carlos. Maybe we will get some more Hammer time in at some point this weekend. Yeah, I'm playing that, playing this. I'm playing a game right now I can't talk about. Yeah, a lot of stuff that I'm playing is under embargo until next week and then later this month. So it's a little hard to really talk about what I have been playing. But all I can say is right now it's pretty busy. I'm looking forward to checking out these games. I saw all the high praise for Metaphor, so I definitely am going to check that out. But I kind of want to get through some of this other stuff first, these other reviews, and then I'll jump on it. But all I can say is just stay tuned. There's a lot of stuff. It's a whole bunch of stuff that's going to be coming down the here in the next couple of weeks.
There you go, man. But yeah, so yeah, this weekend I will be getting in because I know Until Dawn's like a short game, so I could just knock that out in the afternoon and get my review out. But yeah, no, I'm still, still in the dojo, brother. Playing. I'm going back and forth between, even though it's mostly Street Fighter 6. Marvel vs. Capcom because I'm trying to get the platinum in that, getting pretty close. The main trophy I'm working on is beating the game with every single character, which is a requirement. Thankfully for the tag team games, let's just say you beat the game with 3 characters, it counts all 3 of those characters. Even though in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 there are no character endings, but it counts them. So I've been slow because I'm almost like, let me take my time with this. I don't need to just rush, Street Fighter, been having a lot of fun with that, trying to level up my main dude in like World Tour mode and also, hitting up ranked matches, trying to get better and shit. It's been fun, man. Again, getting back in there. I even snuck in some Virtua Fighter 5 in there, people. It's real right now. The itch is strong. I've been having fun with that Victress controller that I showed off. Really good stuff there. Although there's still a couple of things I would like. I want to like talk to a company like Hori, I guess, and be like, yo, this is how you should design a fight pad. Because I got ideas, but it's like every fight pad I use, there's always 1 or 2 elements where I'm like, you could have fixed this. Like with the Victress, the 2 things that kind of bother me is like you can't remap the top. Like, okay, basically R1 and R2 are the same on the face buttons as they are on the top. You can't make it so L1 and L2 are on the top like you can with the Hori. And also I feel that the angle of the 6 buttons on the face make it a little bit harder to do combos and stuff. But the thing is, they try to make the controller for everybody, but it's like when you try to make a controller for everybody, you kind of don't make a controller for anybody. But I'm going to get more into that this weekend because I believe it was one subset asked me a very good question about fight pads versus fight sticks. I'm like, ooh, I got some thoughts on that. So stay tuned. But yeah, I'm having a blast playing Street Fighter, letting off some steam, busting motherfuckers' heads, and getting my ass whipped too, and learning. It's been fun, man. It's been fun. So yeah, that's it for Throwdown for this week. We will return soon. And speaking about returns, I have an announcement to make. Now, this is something I'd even tell the fellas is I want their raw reactions. So this week, I was talking to the Godsham God himself, Mr. Torrance Davis, and he told me something that I am both surprised by, but also not surprised by, because you saw he's been doing Davis dailies all the time. He has been on Throwdown a little bit more. I'm like, sounds like the bug's coming back, Torrance. So Torrance wanted me to tell you guys, because you know, a lot of our fans are obviously fans of the Warzone podcast, that Torrance, he hasn't said when, but Torrance is bringing back the Warzone people. Crazy.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it will be called Warzone Aftermath. It's going to be a new structure, about an hour, but it will be weekly and probably going to go up on Wednesdays. That's what he told me, his plan. And I was like, Torrance, man, like fucking Al Pacino, man. You try to get out, they pull you right back in, you know? So that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Because again, Torrance, man, if it wasn't for Torrance, we wouldn't be here. Like, he made a lot of us. You know, I'm not just talking Throwdown. Like, Coalition also owes a big ups to Torrance. Like, we owe a lot to this man. So it'll be good to see him, you know, get back in there, giving his thoughts on the gaming industry. You know, and I'll talk with Torrance again, see if I could have him on, you know, on Throwdown, right before that episode goes live. You know.
You know who he should have as a guest? Just get the old school out. Otaku Man.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously hip hop, but get Otaku Man in there. Him and Torrance have the history because I mean, obviously, I don't know how close they were, but they both know things before. You know, before it all sort of changed around and stuff. So it'd be cool. It'd be a cool show to hear them talk about stuff.
Yeah, for sure. The OGs, you know. Oh, Fergus Mills just made a very bold statement, people.
Uh-oh.
He said Metaphor will be a top 3 game of this generation. Easy.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, very interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
Better than Concord?
Better than Oh man, that is wild, dude.
Better than Until Dawn Remastered?
Better than Until Dawn?
What by what measure, and like what leads you to say this?
Maybe because of all. Oh my god! I just looked at the. I'm just scrolling through Twitter randomly. This game's getting super high scores.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Brett, I think it's. Okay, listen. I made this statement about Elden Ring and I was fucking wrong, so I don't want to say this again. But I also, my instinct is always like, yeah, you Persona guys are getting a little too hyped up right now. But maybe it is. Maybe I could be wrong. Remember, these Elden Ring guys said the same shit. I was like, you guys are crazy. That is not game of generation defining. Yeah, it was.
Wait, what game are we talking about?
Okay, so Metaphor. No.
Oh,
Metaphor. Yeah,
Metaphor. My bad. I thought you was talking about Marathon. I was like,
no. Metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah, but apparently, it's getting.
That's my bad.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Rich.
I just was going to say, I think Fergus Mills might be onto something. I've saw quite a lot of people talking about it and saying they were looking forward to the next Persona, but they said this is the game that now makes them feel like Persona needs to raise the bar. So
that is something that I've been seeing a lot too, and that got me hyped.
That's a bold statement, but we'll see. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, Metaphor is not. You got to remember that the Shin Megami Tensei and those games are officially a licensed product. So those were books before, you know, all that stuff. So all those things that are based off of it or loosely based off of it, they still have that connection. Metaphor is definitely something that's totally separated, where it's something that's their own. So
it's a metaphor.
Yes, it's a metaphor. Raise a new engine, you mean? Certain Nerfers, he's talking about Dragon Ball. Oh, have you heard that? Where the game was apparently really brutal. So whoever, I think it's Bandai Namco, was like, it's okay to turn down the difficulty if it's too hard. I'm like, is this the Dark Souls of Dragon Ball Z games?
Here we go.
That's funny, man. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero has been great for fighters. Is it really a fighting game? I don't know about that. I think the only Dragon Ball Z, I mean, there have been some Dragon Ball Z fighting games, obviously, fighters, you know?
Yeah.
But like those Budokai, I don't know about that, you know? Or the open world ones. I guess the ones that are like 2D, yeah, those are fighting games. But anyway, that's a whole other story right there. Anyway, we're done here, so make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube and join a Discord where the conversations, the rumors are always popping. If you want to listen to us, you could make sure to follow us on any podcast app that you like listening to. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Fucking Samsung Podcast. We're on there for some reason. We're on everything. So wherever you listen to podcasts, we are there. And links to everything else down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Brett Murdoch.
Deuces.
Richard Bailey Jr.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
And Brian Majoma.
I actually wonder how long Ubisoft is actually going to last at this point.
Brian, do you think they'll be around by the end of the year?
Possibly, but I think they won't be around by the end of next year.
Shit. I think I agree with you, bro. This shit is crazy right now. But we'll see. Or by being around, you mean as we know them? Because they could be bought by Tencent.
Yeah, being bought, I think, counts as not being around anymore.
Okay, fair enough. I agree. Next year, they're done. You guys brought it on yourselves. Just saying. Just saying. All right, we'll see you on Sunday. Get them questions in later.
Peace.